Hello, I'm Maya and welcome back to Piers Park Sailing Center. This video is for Science of Sailing students who are Level 2 studying terminology and theory. Today's lesson will be about boat parts and sonar design. To learn how a sonar works, we'll have to learn what the boat parts are and what they do. Starting at the stern, we have the backstay, which is connected to the mast and the transom. The backstay affects the shape of the sail depending on how tightly it's pulled. Usually on low wind days, the backstay should be loosened to catch more wind. It's also helpful to ease the backstay when you're sailing downwind. On higher wind days, tightening the backstay will prevent heeling and help you sail upwind. Moving from the stern towards the bow, we have the forestay. This provides stability to the mast and keeps it upright. The forestay is also where we attach the jib with the little metal clips known as hanks. Next we have the shrouds, also called sidestys, which attach to the mast from the sides of the boat. Just like the forestay and the backstay, they support the mast by preventing it from leaning too much on the starboard or port sides of the boat. Attached to the shrouds are the Telltales, which we know from previous videos help us determine the wind direction. These telltales can also be found on the sails too. Above the shroud telltales, you'll find the spreaders, which are the spars that help keep the shroud stable. Now that we've talked about boat parts that support the mast, let's talk about parts that support the mainsail. The mainsail is attached to the boom down below, which connects to the mast with what we call the gooseneck. We need the gooseneck to let the mainsail move side to side with the wind. The shackle on the boom also helps hold down the mainsail. It connects the main sheets to the boom so that we can trim our sails easily. Moving to the mast, we have the track, which is this narrow slit that goes all the way up to the top. At the bottom of the track, we have the slot, which is the wider opening in the track. To hoist the mainsail, we slide the bolt rope into the slot and pull it up the track with the main halyard. The bolt rope starts at the bottom of the mainsail and goes all the way up. And, fun fact, it's the only rope that we actually call a rope and not a line in sailing. After the mainsail has been hoisted up, these thin strips of material called battens help keep the mainsail open wide and give it shape. While we're talking about the mainsail, let's learn the anatomy of a sail. The front edge of the sail is called the luff. This isn't too bad to remember because sails luff when the wind hits the front of the sails in irons. Below the luff in the front corner of the sail is the tack. After the tack, we call the bottom edge of the sail the foot. That makes sense because our feet are close to the ground on the bottom. At the back corner of the sail is the clew. And no, that's not a spelling mistake. That's just how you spell this kind of clew. Above the clew at the back edge of the sail is the leech. Luckily not the blood-sucking kind. Finally, at the top of the sail is the head, which is easy to remember because your head is at the top of your body. There's a cool mnemonic device to help you remember all of these sail parts, and it goes like this. Uncle Luff had a tack in his foot, so he didn't have a clew, he had a leech on his head. You can use this mnemonic for the jib too. The only difference is that they're shaped a little differently. Now that we know a little more about sails, let's describe how they make a boat move. Sails aren't just flat cloths. They curve and bend to make pockets when the wind hits them, pulling the boat sideways. But wait a minute, boats move forward, Maya, not sideways. Well, the reason a boat can sail forward instead of slipping sideways is because of the forces from the keel and rudder. So sailboats actually travel forwards. Besides keeping a boat from side slipping, The keel also prevents boats from capsizing because it's so heavy, actually 930 pounds on a sonar. Without a heavy keel, a boat could definitely capsize. But the sonars at Piers Park never will. And that's great for you because it means you don't have to worry about tipping over, even if the boat is heeling a lot. Thanks for joining me again in this lesson about boat parts and sonar design. I hope I'll see you in the next Science of Sailing video. Bye!